I'm Spencer.
And I'm Kombat Time!
And this is The Itch.
With a K.
And we're here to review
Mortal Kombat X Extreme! Woo! 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 Mortal Kombat X recently came out this past week on the 14th of April. Developed by NetherRealm Studios, it is the 10th installment in the Mortal Kombat franchise, the main Mortal Kombat franchise. It is the second installment after the reboot, Mortal Kombat 9, in which our characters are stuck in an alternate dimension where things don't pan out the way that they used to in the original ones. So now what we're left with are new characters, new fucking environments, and new alliances. Oh, goddamn. So, come with me on this little adventure as we review this game and give you guys our thoughts and opinions and other shit. First things first, I'm a realist, and my experience has been about 25 plus hours. I played this game a little bit religiously, given the facts. Story-wise, I've completed the story. I've also completed the tower challenges for multiple different characters, including Test Your Might, Test Your Luck, and Classic. I've not completed Survivor or Unlimited, because guess what? You can't fucking beat those towers. I've played online extensively, so I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I've chopped off a couple arms of my time, thanks to my boy Takeda.
Alright.
So let's get started. I'm also a fighting game enthusiast. I enjoy playing fighting games. I've been to a couple of tournaments here or there. May have gotten first place in a couple of times. Okay. The point should be made that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to fighting games. Okay, so if you need someone to verify that with, look at me further. So, story-wise, the story takes place after Mortal Kombat 9. At the end of Mortal Kombat 9, there's a bit of a travesty. It's not past that 5-year mark, so I can't really say. And it completely shakes up the actual story of Mortal Kombat. All I can say is it's a reboot due to some plot holes. And then now we're at a phase where certain characters are here, certain characters are there. I can't say particularly what, because it's spoiler realm. But regardless, it jumps between periods, so it kind of fast forward. It talks about a little bit of a story 2 years after the end of Mortal Kombat 9. And then it fast forward 20 years ahead. You're dealing with different people, and then it'll jump back 5 years, sometimes 15 years in one instance, and then sometimes, the whole fucking 20. It follows a new generation of fighters, a lot of them who are related to the original cast. You have Kung Jin, who's Kung Lao's one of his younger cousins. You have Takeda, my boy, who was trained by Scorpion, is Kenshi's son. You have Jacqueline Briggs, or Jackie, who is, Jax's daughter. And then you have Casey Cage, who is Johnny Cage. And gasps, Sonya Blade's kid, or Sonya Cage, if you want to get technical. They're divorced, but who cares? That's not spoiler realm, that's in the trailers. Functions like Injustice and Mortal Kombat 9 story, in which you control the character for like 4 or 5 matches, then it switches the narrative and you're playing as someone else. Good guys, bad guys, it switches it up, right? Keeps you on your toes. The gameplay functions like a 2.5D fighter, in which you can interact with things on a 3D scale, but for the most part you are fighting on a 2D plane. Fans of Injustice and MK9 will feel at home. There's a little bit of a combo system added into there, to where you do like square, triangle, and then you hit triangle and circle, and then that does a combo on its own.
Does Scorpion still go, "Get over here"?
He does, and he says it in the story at the best possible time.
Excellent.
He doesn't say "get the fuck over here" though, which is exclusive to Shaolin monks.
Oh, we still gotta play that one.
Yeah, we do. Especially because he's like, "Get the fuck over here!" And you're just like, you see it. Very rare to happen, but it's gonna happen when we record it. Obviously, you use interactables, on the background only in the background, and you have access to your X-rays, which are these really gruesome attacks where you fucking breaks. You essentially kill the guy, but no, it's a fighting game, so they're still alive. And then fatalities and brutalities, which are obviously one of the highlights of Mortal Kombat. They definitely up the visceral action when it comes to these. You're getting some people getting their faces cut off. You're getting other people who are getting ripped in half and pulling their bodies away. It's very violent. But
bring the kids.
Bring the kids. Do it now. Do it. Multiplayer is also there as well. Multiplayer aspect of the game focuses on pretty much you either playing a tower mode with your friends in which we compete for the highest score. You can fight against each other. You can do a 3-on-3. You can do a 5-on-5. You also have access to King of the Hill mode. And you have access to what's called faction battles, where you choose one of 5 different factions, and your wins and everything like that support that particular faction. So it's a nice little thing to have. Visually, the game looks pretty decent. You know, I could say, hey, you know what? It is a incredibly mutated Unreal Engine, but you know what? In certain lights, some characters look pretty good. If it's just plain light out, that's not where I feel the Unreal Engine shines. It shines when there's shading, when there's shadows, when there's dynamic lighting going on. So it's clearly in certain levels, some characters look way better. It's consistently 60 frames per second. It's got a flashy, less clunky moveset, so your characters, when you're punching and kicking, don't look fucking lame. They actually look like it's part of their style, which is great. Exactly. Music-wise, forgettable. Fuck this shit. There's no fucking music that is worth remembering. The music plays in the background, and it is very low, and it sounds like they probably put a week aside just to figure out the music. It's like the first try, like, all right, that sounds good enough. All right, next song. You know, like they didn't fucking care. The sound, on the other hand, itself is great. I love hearing the noises. You can hear Scorpion's chain from his kunai when he whips it out. It's like, go over here. You know, he's like, you hear cling, you know, whatever. Or Takeda, when he's slamming his whips down, you can hear the noise. The sounds of Jackie when she's powering up her fist to like punch someone. It's great. Sound-wise, it's great. The running, everything feels fantastic. Feels like an arcade game. The voice acting's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. There's some pretty good fucking quips that these motherfuckers have to say against each other. You know, I would say, if anything, if you want to see the interactions, Google Mortal Kombat X intros and watch how these people talk to each other. Some of these motherfuckers are so disrespectful, Liu Kang, and some of them are pretty badass toward each other and stuff like that. So definitely something to consider. Another important thing is the dialogue is actually scripted way better. It doesn't look like some 4-year-old got together and was like, "Oh, it sounds cool, guys," or 4th grader rather. It sounds like it's actually legitimately people that actually thought about, hey, if these two people see each other, what are they going to say? You know, like it's not just like Scorpion meets Quan Chi and he goes, "Sorcerer." He's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you," you know, and they kind of allude to that. The relationships really show in the intros, which is great. In the end,
doesn't even matter.
You know, it's funny. I actually did want you to catch it with that, and I was like, I wonder if he knows. But
I know.
And then when I quit it, you went on to it. But anyway, in the end, the game looks great. Definitely improved fighting game wise as far as mechanics go from Mortal Kombat 9, which was still stiff, to Mortal Kombat 10 is a huge jump. You can really tell like they actually took the game seriously. You can see it in the marketing. The variation system that's actually in the game, which I didn't really touch on too much, where you pick one character, but you have 3 different ways they can play, and switch around their moveset and some of their properties and stuff like that. Does add variety to the game because you can play the same character. Like you and your friend can play the same character, but you can be like, hey, you know what? I like Ninjutsu Scorpion. Oh, well, I like Hellfire Scorpion. You know, and then you can fight, and it's not technically a mirror match because you still have these different tools that you can use. So it's pretty interesting, actually. Story mode is cool. The story itself, I see a lot of people hype it up. The story is not that good. Just like Mortal Kombat 9, it's a Hollywood story. It's not the best storytelling in the world. It's not. It's good. It is tolerable. And the multiplayer is actually not that bad. A lot of people are worried about the net code with the K. But the game, functionality-wise, stability-wise, in online matches is actually pretty decent. I actually, unfortunately, have a very bad connection on the internet. So for me, sometimes, you know, I'm not running to someone and maybe I have a bad match. But when we're doing it up here, you know, in the household, the stream spot, right, did not really have a drop in connectivity unless I was playing, you know, someone that's a bad connection. My brother. So anyway, cons, newcomers, MK9, like they didn't play MK9, or maybe they did, and going onward might have a bit of a hard time with this game because, again, you're learning new combos and stuff like that, which is part of the fun, but it might turn some people off. It's just the way it is. It's the nature of the beast. Not too much to do after the story's complete, and complete was spelled with a K.
Excellent.
But there's really not too much. After you complete the main story, you have Tower and you have the Crypt. And online, of course, but if you're not that competitive online player, you're kind of SOL. You know what I mean? Like, there's really not too many features.
I feel like that's the thing now, is that to get into the fighting games, you really have to... There are some people that'll buy these games, and just they're not competitive, but you've got to really be a competitive fighter these days to really get the most out of the fighting games you play.
It's like to experience League of Legends, you have to be some form of competitive.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to play it because I like how the character's like. Well, you might want to consider being a little, aggressive.
Yeah.
Jumping onto the Crypt mode, it's a problem I fucking have. The Crypt mode has jump scares with giant spiders. Haven't beaten all the Crypt yet. It's fucking bullshit.
He has arachnophobia.
Fuck you.
Also known as a vagina.
So anyway, this asshole over here. There's no tag mode. That's the other thing, which sucks because tag mode was a really big feature in Mortal Kombat 9, and a lot of people liked it. Unfortunately, Ed Boon felt that it was underappreciated. Didn't want to devote resources to it, which I feel was a little bit misplaced. But whatever the case is, do we recommend it? Yes. Here's why. If you have a vagina like me,
you can stick it in there.
If you're into fighting games and competitive styles of games, or play whatever, or just with the homies, you want to be the best on your block, it's definitely a game for you.
You think this has a chance at the competitive scene?
Yeah, it's on the line for you.
Right. A lot of new games I feel like end up there, but do you think down the road, next couple of years, continuously it'll be there?
Well, see, that's a conversation for a different time. I'll get to that. We'll talk about that after the camera stuff.
Okay.
If you're an MK fan and not a diehard, you're probably still going to like this game. I'm not a diehard, but I did do my research on it, and I did focus more on just paying attention to themes and stuff like that. I still have Mortal Kombat home again. So I loaded that up and cried because of how bad it was. If you're interested in the series, but you don't know where to jump in it, this is perfectly fine. It doesn't matter if it's the sequel to the reboot. This is a good time to jump in and to really take in what happens. Because they kind of give you a rough idea of what happened. You're just left kind of picking up the pieces at this point. So it's not like you missed too much. If you don't mind over-the-top gore, I have no problem with it. A lot of gamers don't, but some people might be a little bit squeamish. There are some pretty violent deaths. Some people getting their, backbones getting pulled out. Some people getting punched in the stomach, losing their entire fleshy part of their body, and their backbone getting broken that way. Or any X-ray. Any. They're all pretty violent. But if you don't mind that stuff, or actually if that turns you on, go for it. Finally, I just want to point out one thing about this game that is good and bad at the same time. Okay, like I said, the story mode. If you're just playing for the story, you might be disappointed. Just because the story mode ends after about 5 hours, you're playing with a multitude of different characters. It could be longer if you lose a couple of times, but to me, Mortal Kombat is like an attractive woman who says yes. You go on a date, she's great, right? And you guys start dating, and she has no substance to her. But she's trying. You tell her issues, you're like, hey, I wish, you'd be more involved with blank. And she's like, you know what? We're going to do that. And that's what Mortal Kombat is to me. It is a girl who is trying. It's a very attractive girl because she looks very appealing in all her trailers. But when you play her, you have fun that first, week, month, whatever, and then you're like, shit. But she's trying. With all these patches, Predator, Jason Voorhees and Tanya and Tremor coming, the other DLC characters coming, she's trying. And that's what counts. Okay, she's putting in work in the relationship to keep you coming back.
She's going to give you anal. I'm Spencer.
This is the itch.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on This Is the Itch on Twitch.
We didn't advance that way.
Thanks for watching.
Bye. She's gonna give you an answer.